when I was writing these questions, I didn't realize we were going to be talking about separation of church and state so much.
Okay.
And I thought we were going to be talking about like the church trying to keep anything non-religious out instead of the world trying to keep religion out.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like this word exists, because the church needed something to label everything that's not made or done or built by a Christian.
I gotcha.
So don't do that. That's secular. So
right.
And on top of that, if you have anything to do with anything secular, we're going to judge you, and you shouldn't be doing that, and can't believe you, and God's judging you, and blah blah blah.
Okay.
So
I see what you're saying.
So that.
Yeah. So so you're coming at it from like almost like the Christians were the inventors and the upholders of that word.
Yes.
Where I think it's actually the other way around.
Okay. Well, that's not my experience with
it.
But
you're not. But I don't think you're wrong in the sense that because there has been this, because of what our secular society looks like, right? Because it looks like non-Christian, it looks like non-God, it looks like we want to keep God out kind of thing, right? Like that's kind of the whole mindset behind it, and so. And, let's remove prayer from school. Whether you agree with it or not agree with it, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just the point being is let's just, again, free our society more and more from religion being in the public space. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I think that for Christians, then we almost took like this defensive posture of like isolationism. Like, in other words, like, or kind of not isolationism, but like,
right. So
bunkering down, like we're gonna bunker down. Like,
so Christians did exactly what the secular people wanted them to do.
Yeah, it's like just not engage with them at all.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
And I'm judged for it.
Yeah, right. Like I think it's kind of it's because see, here's the thing with Jesus, and this is why Jesus was definitely not like a secularist. Like, what does it say about Jesus? It says that Jesus was all the time with the sinners, the tax collectors, the prostitutes, right? Like he was going to houses of individuals that were not believers, that were not Jews, that, or at least even if they were Jews, they were not, following, the law. They were considered evildoers or doers or practicers of wickedness, lawbreakers. And so Jesus was around people that seemingly wanted nothing to do with God, but yet that's where he found himself, is with trying to reach and minister to those people as well. And so I think that we also need to do that, that we also need to find ourselves going and being with individuals that don't know Christ. And instead of just being like, oh, anyone who doesn't know Christ, stay away from, or anything that doesn't look like Jesus, stay away from. No, I do understand, like, kind of like when you're thinking about it from your perspective, especially your experience growing up, of how, when you're growing up and you're told secular is bad.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's created, because secular music, but like, is all music that is not explicitly Christian bad? I don't think that's the case.
Right. Which was the problem.
Yeah.
You gave up the middle ground.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah.
And told me never to go in there.
Right.
Which was stupid.
Right.
And then punished me for it.
Yeah. Well, like, and what's crazy is, I mean, I've even been around places that was like extremes of like, man, if it's not anything, like if it doesn't have anything to do with church or the necessity of you going there for like work, like don't go. Like,
right.
Like don't go to a football game.
Right.
Because people are going to be there. They're going to be drinking. They're going to be, like.
Right. They're going to be playing secular music.
Right. And that's not.
You might watch a coach say a swear.
Right. And so that's not where you need to be. Like, I've been in those circles where it was like adamantly against those kind of things. Right. And like you said, well, then where am I supposed to, like.
Yeah.
Like,
you lose
100%.
This is how you lose.
And this is how Christianity.
Where you give up ground.
Yeah. And Christianity took a nosedive.
Yes.
Right. And so, I mean, there's a lot of other reasons it took a nosedive besides just this, but that's part of it, right? When you just completely like barricade yourself in, and you're not reaching people, guess what's going to happen? You're actually going to decline, right? Like that's just That's just the way it is. And so, no, I do feel like there's a way to be
Christians
able.
want to lose. I feel like I feel like for the entire time I've been alive, up until maybe recently, they have just wanted to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, for real.
Yeah.
They're like, don't, all the times that we like, don't go be scientists because there might be, you know what I'm saying? Don't go be,
Right.
don't go be entertainers.
Right.
Don't go, all the things they just want to lose.
Yeah.
And they deserve to lose.
Well,
honestly.
It's interesting about the science thing. That was like a real thing.
I know.
Like, because science was deemed as evil.
Right.
Because that was secular. Right?
Right. Because you, yeah.
Yeah. In science, I mean, I remember like it was like Christianity versus science.
Because someone had a theory and you're like, can't believe people believe this theory. And
right.
you're like, well, everyone believes it. We got to dip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I know, like but it really was. It was postured as Christianity versus science,
right?
And that's insane,
right?
Like that's absolutely asinine.
And it was secular science.
Secular science,
literally, that's a term,
right? Because it's
and Christian science
or creation science,
and then Christian science became a whole religion.
Yeah, it did. But I think that's a big issue.
Right.
That's a problem. When you're viewing everything, that's secular, stay away. That's secular, stay away.
And there can't be two sciences.
Right.
One's right.
I know.
Right?
And I think with science...
Or they're both wrong.
Right. Well, and that's the kind of crazy part, right? Like you've got theories within science, right? The theory of evolution.
Right.
It's a theory.
Right.
And I understand Christians got a little upset when it began to be taught as fact.
Right.
And when it was really...
Which
is theory.
Stupid.
It's still a theory. But okay, so if that's what they're going to teach at the schools, parents, teach them the other side.
Right.
Right?
Tell them that's wrong.
Tell them it's wrong.
They don't teach that until they're in high school.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like,
so just tell them it's wrong. I don't understand.
Yeah. I know. I get you.
So let's never go to public schools anymore, and let's never go to football games, and let's never go outside. Let's just stay inside our stained glass windowed church and
Don't go to the bars. Don't go to and I'm not sitting here advocating like going out and participating in debauchery, right?
Right.
But what I'm also saying is, I mean, we have to go into spaces where people who don't know Jesus are.
Right.
I mean, where else are we going to share Christ?
I don't know.
Because it can't just
at
be
church.
And that really became part of the issue too, right? Like the only time anyone got saved is when they came to church.
Right.
Well, that's it's like the opposite of what Jesus said. Jesus said, go out, make disciples of all nations, all people groups, go out. And we were like, I'm going to build a building, meet here, and hope they come to me.
Right.
And that is what we did. And that's part of the problem, I think, too. Because think about it, in earlier times when churches were meeting in homes, and whatever your thought is about the house churches or those kind of things, but when they were meeting in homes, it was part of the community. It was connected with the larger communal part. Then we started just kind of barricading ourselves in by building these cathedrals of churches that have church buildings, and I do wonder if that's part of that reason that we've lost some ground too, because it can be kind of intimidating and feel kind of weird going into a building,
right?
And so, in other words,
where everyone thinks and acts the same way.
Right. So my point just being, and I'm not even, we have a beautiful church sanctuary with stained glass windows. I'm not even knocking that. All I'm saying is, but that can feel intimidating for an unbeliever to walk into that space. Mm-hmm. So if they're not going to walk into our space, we've got to walk into their space. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. But that's secular and it's wrong.
Yeah. So I do not want I don't want my children, for example.
And you're bad for saying that because you're going to get people roped up into sins.
I know.
Yep.
Hey, I went to bars all the time in college,
mm-hmm.
and I say all the time. That's a strong word. I would say that. I went to bars when I was in college, often to listen to bands
mm-hmm.
that I liked.
Yep.
And
Secular bands?
Secular bands. Rut-row. Even though there was...
And you're a pastor now?
I know it.
People listen to you?
Well, they probably shouldn't. And there was one band that was in Athens, and they were Christian. Like, they themselves individually were Christians.
Right.
So their music wasn't anything that would go against their ethics, right? Their biblical ethics or their biblical worldview. But they didn't play music that sounded like church music.
But their music didn't sound like church music, and it didn't have Jesus in there like 40 times.
Correct. Yeah. It wasn't overtly Christian.
Right.
But yet they were, we would watch them, and they would talk to people about God and Jesus in the middle of their sets. And it wasn't like in your face kind of style, right? It was like, hey, the lyrics of this song or da-da-da-da, this makes me think about, like he's kind of sharing his stories, and the guy was an incredible storyteller.
And the reason they had to do that in a bar is because the church wouldn't let him do it at the church. Because it didn't sound Jesus-y, churchy enough.
Yeah. And that's probably true too.
Yeah.
And so I think that, so my point just being is, we can go into those spaces, and that's where Jesus found himself sitting with sinners and tax collectors and drunkards and gluttons and everything else. Like, that's where he was. That's where.
That's the thing is, Christians act like they don't have to do that all the time.
Yeah,
like they don't act like they're, out of necessity are going to the secular grocery store. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get food.
Right.
Yeah, the secular drive-through.
Right. Right.
And they don't act like they don't have to do that all the time and pretend that that's not right, but then cherry pick whatever you like to do.
Yeah. And you're right. And at the same time, like, do I want my kids to grow up in a secular society? No. Like, I want to, but as a Christian, for me, it's not let me tear down, I do want to, like, I would challenge, constitutionally, I would challenge the idea of freedom from religion. I think that actually goes against our Constitution. And so, like, I would challenge that, but like my heart is not to just change, worldview ideas or ideals, but rather to say, no, we want to see people come to know Christ. So, hey, I want my kids to be prepared enough in their hearts and in their mind to be able to be in a secular society and still be strong in their own personal faith and be able to share Christ with others.
Right.
Like, and I say share, it sounds so like spiritual. Let's say you're at work, someone's had a tragedy, they're going through in their own life, and you say, can I pray for you?
No.
Like, you should, and most people would go, I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be a fireable offense.
Right.
Again, private companies can kind of do what they want to do, but I think most people would welcome that. And again, I know that's not across the board true for every place, but I just think I have found that to be true in most places, and people generally don't mind you praying for something if they've shared something with you,
Right.
Like, I was on the plane coming back, just literally met this person, and they were telling me about a physical illness their child was going through. And I was like, can I pray? Like, we were about to land. I was like, hey, can I pray for your child before we go? And they were like, yeah, please. And I did. And man, by the time I'm done, the person was like crying and everything. Like,
really?
Yeah. Cause it meant something to them that I would pray. And they were like, I'm going to tell and this was like an adult child. They were like, I'm going to tell my child that you prayed for them.
Cool.
And, and they may have been a believer, I don't know, but like, that's not the point. I didn't ask, it was just, hey, this is a human being. Can I pray for
And
you?
that happened on a secular airplane?
Sure did.
Wow.
On a secular airplane.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And they didn't kick you off right there?
They didn't throw me out.
Okay.
So I appreciate that too.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I waited till you were landing. A little closer.
Wait till the ACLU hears about this.
They're coming for me. They're coming.
Oh, we joke, but it's true.
It's probably so true. I'm so fine.
Get off my plane.
Blacklist me.